What's up, everybody? This is Chris Surratt bringing you another edition of the Car Concierge Show, the show that helps with the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of your vehicle. On today's show, we're going to tackle the horrible situation with Spirit as they go through a lot of problems and plan to close. Next up, we're going to talk, of course, about the latest recall, it being a Ford recall, and it affecting the lights on some of the most popular vehicles. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Monterey Car Week. Monterey Car Week is a car event that happens every year here on the central coast of California. And it brings a lot of money, a lot of people, and a lot of fancy cars to the region. So we're going to check that a little bit. All right, so let's jump straight into it. It is a beautiful, hot, sunny day here in California. So let's hurry it up so we can enjoy the sun. All right, first off, we're going to talk about Spirit. Spirit is going through a lot of problems. And of course, they've always had a decent amount of problems because they're one of those industries or airline companies that tends to, not live up to a great standard as it was for a company. Because, of course, Spirit has had a lot of problems. But, of course, Spirit is one of those airlines that are, I want to say, fairly priced, or people can get them a decent flight for a decent price from Spirit, and now it seems like that might go away. Let's check it out.
Of the airline's future.
Like many companies, Spirit Airlines has struggled to stay afloat.
A quarterly report, Spirit Airlines sharing its substantial doubt over its ability to continue as a going concern over the next year. The company says adverse market conditions are to blame here. Kendra Simpson spoke with officials at Rochester's airport and some travelers as well to get a better picture of the airline's future.
Like many companies, Spirit Airlines has struggled to stay afloat since the COVID-19 pandemic. But unlike other major airlines, Spirit is realizing this rough patch may prove to be more than it can handle. Back in November, the airline filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection after announcing they were running out of money. This may have been the most reasonable option since the company has lost $2.5 billion since 2020. In addition to the plans of furloughing 270 pilots, the airline is now considering selling aircraft and real estate to help it stay afloat, while also adapting its current business model to offer flight options with tiered prices. Some Rochester residents believe there's little Spirit could do at this point to repair the company's reputation, but it might not be impossible.
People say bad service, rude employees or, flight attendants and dirty, things like that. And maybe if they're doing something like a tier system, I'd like to see what they do with that. I would consider flying.
I think maybe if they kind of do makeover or revamp the vibes and kind of acknowledge, hey, this is the reputation that we do have, and we want to kind of distance ourselves from that and show that that is not us.
The Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport shared a statement with News 8 saying, quote, "They continue to have a solid partnership with Spirit Airlines. We are confident that all Spirit flights to Orlando, Florida and Fort Lauderdale, Florida will operate as scheduled." Spirit Airlines stated they expect to stay in business for, quote, "at least the remainder of 2025, and hopefully these financial maneuvers will assist in that. Otherwise, the world of air travel may look quite different in just a few short years." At the Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport, Kendra Simpson, News 8.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations where, of course, they had a big... What they were really talking about was the reputation of Spirit, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about them hemorrhaging money and not being able to keep up, pace because of their reputation. I mean, people don't fly Spirit as much as other airlines because of what everybody hears about Spirit. It's almost the cancel culture situation where, you hear all these bad things and you see all these bad videos of things that happen with this Spirit planes and with the stewardesses and the front desk people. And it's all a situation where Spirit has tried their best to keep a low cost average around for the cost of their flights, and to do that, of course, they had to keep a low cost when it comes to the employees that they hire, maybe even to some of the pilots that they hire as well, because they talked heavily about the furlough that they had to do for pilots, so they couldn't afford to pay all of the pilots that they had on staff, and they had to get rid of a couple. So it's one of those situations where their reputation has destroyed their ability to keep their seats filled to the point where they're starting to make a revenue off of the flights that they're taking. And it's probably not going to get better at all. I think I already saw an article where they said that they're done for and they're pretty much going to sell Spirit, and it's going to be enveloped by probably American Airlines or United or something like that, and it's going to become a low tier, like the tier situation that they were talking about. It's going to become a low tier flight for some other airline company, American, United, Southwest. One of those are just going to pick them up and then keep them in a way that they had them to some degree. They're going to force them to have better customer service. They're going to force them to hire better people on the flights, and they're probably going to redo the planes slightly, but keep it to a minimum so they can try to keep the prices for the flights the same, because that was the biggest thing for Spirit. Spirit had great, prices for their flights. I personally never flew Spirit myself. I've seen some people on Spirit or had some people fly out to me on a Spirit flight, but myself, I've never flown on a Spirit flight, so I've never experienced any of the situations that people talk about, how bad Spirit is and how bad their customer service is. I've never experienced that, so I can't really speak on that, but I see that it's it's a airline that lots of people that I know use. Now, I have people I know, well-to-do people that take Spirit, and they've never had, any of these bad experiences that other people had. So it's just this situation where they're going to have to revamp their name and revamp how people see them, so more people will be inclined to take the flight. But more than likely, what's going to happen is that they're just going to give up. They've already filed for bankruptcy. They're just going to sell it off to probably American or United, and they're just going to become that low tier flight that hopefully people with, who can't afford those other flights, they can take this Spirit flight and still save money. Okay, so let's get into some real automotive news. So next up, we're going to talk, of course, about recalls, our daily recall segment, because recalls just been coming out left and right for quite some time. It's just getting really worse. It really is. But Ford has come out with a new recall, and it's for a headlight issue. So this is going to be a reader. We're going to head over to Yahoo News. Over 21,000 Ford Lincoln vehicles recalled for headlight issues. See impacted cars. Okay. Ford has issued a recall for over 21,000 vehicles due to an issue that may cause headlights to malfunction, increasing the risk of a crash. Impacted vehicle models include the 2025 Lincoln Nautilus, 2025 Mustang Mach-E, and 2025 Mustang vehicles, Ford said in an announcement on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website. According to Ford, which owns Lincoln, the LED driver modules may contain a device that can cause the low beam and high beam headlights, daytime running lights, and front position lights, and front turn signals to malfunction. Talking about the baluster. For Nautilus vehicles, the device can also cause the rear tail light, rear turn signal, and rear position light to fail, Ford said. That's got to be the stop lamp switch, because that's the only entity that controls all of those lights. Ford said there have not been reports of accidents or injuries related to the lighting issue. Mostly 2025 Ford Mustangs recall. Impacted vehicles were manufactured between March 4, 2025 and July 24, 2025, Ford said in the recall announcement. Most of the vehicles recalled are 2025 Ford Mustangs. The breakdown of impacted vehicles include 2025 Ford Mustang 19,418 vehicles, 2025 Lincoln Nautilus 1,539 vehicles, 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E 808 vehicles. Not a lot. The investigation dates back to March 15th when workers at the Chang'an Ford Hangzhou plant in China inspected a Nautilus vehicle and found a faulty right-hand headlamp assembly. Just over 2 weeks later, plant personnel found 8 more vehicles with similar issues. 2 months later, in May 2025, someone submitted a warranty claim for a Nautilus vehicle in China, Ford said, and by June 15th, 7 more warranty claims were filed in China. Ford's Critical Concern Review Group in China opened an investigation on June 18th, then transferred the investigation to Ford's team, and the U.S. investigators analyzed the vehicle's parts and found that the headlight manufacturers were linked to a burnt device in the headlamps. Where is Ford going to fix the issue? What is Ford doing to fix the issue? The fix is free for impacted owners, Ford said in the announcement. Ford Nautilus and Mach-E vehicle owners, Ford will mail owner notification letters instructing them to take their vehicles to a Ford or Lincoln dealer to have the part replaced. For Mustang vehicles, owners will be notified by mail and told to take their vehicles to a Ford or Lincoln dealer for inspection. If the serial number matches the one they have impacted, the parts will be replaced. Ford began notifying dealers on August 11th. The company began notifying owners on August 11th and should be done by August 29th. Owners should get letters about inspection and replacement between October 1st and December 31st. All right. Fine. Interesting stuff. So, what we're talking about, of course, is just another recall. And then the key to this recall, I think, is that they kind of found it really, really early. It's 2025 vehicles. They had a situation where they found it at the factory first, which is unprecedented because they don't really do that much research and development, like we said. So this is a good thing. This is bringing out recalls a lot sooner. This is telling us that in some places, obviously over there in China, where they're making these vehicles, over in China where they're making these vehicles, the Chinese workers are finding problems, which is a good thing, and which is going to, help people here who buy these vehicles and, start to have these problems. Now, this is not a one of those big old problems that I would say run to the dealership and drop the vehicle off. Of course, headlights seem to go out all the time. I will say that, make sure if you have one of these vehicles and you're watching the show that you go over to the NHTSA website and check see if your vehicle is part of this recall and get that done, because of course, if you don't get the letter, you're not really going to know about it. And if you don't have any problems with your headlights for now until your warranty runs out, then you might be in a situation where you be one of those people that get the problem fixed before you realize that there was a recall, and then you had to go through this whole process of getting reimbursed. So it's always the biggest problem when it comes to these recalls, okay? All right, so last but not least, before we burn up in here, we are going to talk about Monterey Car Week, which is pretty much where I live. And I love Car Week. I deal with it pretty much every year. And, it's fun. You see all these fantastic cars. Lots of people come in. And the most important part is it's a financial boom for the area where I live. Lots of my friends who own car detail shops make a lot of money. Us guys who work in collision centers or sell cars, we make a decent amount of money. So it's always a big boom for the area, and that's always a beautiful thing on why we love that it comes to this area. Biggest problem is, of course, is traffic. Traffic gets swole up for the whole week, and a trip that takes me 10 minutes standardly would take me about 45 minutes, during Car Week. So let's check out a couple of videos about what happened during Car Week, some of the fancy cars, and talk about it, and then we're going to get up out of here.
Of the universe right now. People from all over the world have traveled there for Car Week, a collection of shows, auctions, and events. And as KTVU's Ann Rubin shows us, they are getting to see some of the fastest. And as KTVU
got the guns on it with the little things popping out. One of James Bond's vehicles. I didn't get to see that one.
Ann Rubin shows us they are getting to see some of the fastest, coolest, and most unique automobiles on the planet.
During Monterey Car Week, you'll spot a supercar on every corner, not to mention Formula One racers and James Bond's Aston Martin. It's a car enthusiast's dream, according to Andy Steele, who flew in from London.
The noise everywhere, if you're into cars, this is the place to be.
And people do come here from all over the world. Some haul in their precious cargo. Others drive here, perhaps a little too fast, according to CHP, who pulled over a line of race cars this week. And of course, there is some extra traffic.
If somebody comes into town and they look all the events and then they try to get to all of them, they're just going to beat themselves up trying to get from what would normally take 15 minutes, it's going to take 45 minutes.
And the event keeps growing. Car Week is now more like 10 days, packed with shows and auctions. And according to C Monterey, it brings in about $130 million of tourism spending.
Last year set new records across the board in terms of attendance, in terms of overall visitor spending, in terms of the auctions. A 1960 Ferrari went for $17 million, and charitable donations set new records there as well.
They think this year will surpass that. Gallery owner Simon Bull, who organized Aston's on the Avenue, says businesses are thrilled.
But I think for the businesses generally, obviously the restaurants, that everybody benefits from it, because look at the amount of people on Ocean Avenue.
The event is spread out. The Little Car Show took over downtown Pacific Grove today.
It's not just for the ultra rich, it's for individuals who can afford to buy a little car and fix it up.
And those in attendance say that's why Car Week is so great. There's something for everyone.
Cars are moving history. It's talking to the families, especially at Concours, when you get to meet the people and you see all the passion and all the years. It's just amazing, everything about it.
And if you want to check out Car Week, there's still time. Events run through Sunday, culminating with the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. In Monterey, Ann Rubin, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Yeah, probably head over to the concourse. I used to be a regular at the concourse, beginning to Pebble Beach at that time, and walking through. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be forced to go, but Monterey Car Week is just one of those fantastic events, especially if you're a car guy like me. You just see pretty much everything, just like they were saying. You see the old cars, the new cars, the cars that they're just building. Of course, I had to go to the GM event and see the latest Cadillac. Saw the Velocity. It's an SUV that's out of this world, and got into a Bugatti, really nice Bugatti that I like, the Bouillard. I mean, it's just a wonderful event, wonderful thing. It brings so much money to this area, and it's a boom for this area so much with all the people. And of course, all my friends who have, of course, I was saying detail shops and your car repair shops, because people's cars break down left and right, and they're just going into your shop, and you have to be prepared to help them if you can. And of course, you could charge top dollar, so people are making loads and loads of money, and people are doing chauffeur jobs, getting paid $100 an hour. So it's such a financial boom for people, such a way for people not enjoy themselves, but people to make good money, honest money, and have a great time. Let's check out the financial aspect of it for a little second, and we're gonna head over to Yahoo Finance and see what they're talking about when it comes to the financial boom, like I was talking about.
Enthusiasts, ending with the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. Yahoo Finance senior autos reporter Praz Sumaranian will be there and join us now to tell us what to expect. Praz.
Yes, Josh, I'm getting ready for this big event. Every year I go, it's really busy and crazy, but it's always been fun and always seeing a lot of interesting things and meeting a lot of interesting people. So I have a couple of things to watch, three things to watch just for our purposes here. So number one, Pebble Beach, Monterey Car Week is about auctions, right? Will there be an auction rebound this year? So last year was kind of a downer, a big miss versus estimates across all the different auction houses. The estimate this year is around $380 million across all those auctions. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's down a lot compared to years past, and about the same as what we did last year. So the big question is, can they do better than that? And also the question is the bubble sort of popping with classic cars? It's been sort of taking off since the mid to late teens in the last decade. So what we're seeing is that there's a changing taste for newer cars, maybe the auction houses will cater to the newer modern classics, and maybe that'll sort of up the game, up the numbers to them. Number two, besides those old classic cars, you got a bunch of new cars and concepts that will be revealed as well. Lamborghini, for instance, is an ultra exclusive car coming out in the probably a car less than 50 cars made total for their best customers. We're talking about $1 million plus range. Bugatti will have a one-of-one car called the Brouillard. We're talking about $15 million. It is pretty insane. 16-cylinder engine, you know the deal. Back down on planet Earth, Acura, Infiniti, Japanese brands have more accessible cars, SUVs, potentially an RSX nameplate coming back as like a crossover. Even Rivian and Lucid will be there with the one-off cars for Pebble Beach Monterey Car Week. And finally, the third thing, I mentioned people talking, execs galore, CEOs from all different types of companies will be there. You know, we'll hear from the Lambo CEO, Bentley CEO. We'll even have, Josh, the Infiniti North America head live on your show on 4:30, a half hour on Friday, discussing their new SUV. They're going to debut world premiere at Pebble Beach. So a lot going on there. A lot more executives we'll be talking to. So we'll get covering that big game for everyone at Yahoo Finance for Monterey Car Week.
Pras, for the classic car lovers listening right now, what are the top models at auction?
You know, I mentioned the fact that there's been a taste for newer, I guess that you call modern classic cars from 1975. I know, 1975 and newer. But if you look at the top five cars that are expected to go up to the highest amount, the hammer price at auction, they're all older Ferraris, right? The 61 Ferrari 250 GT SWB. You do see a newer 93 Ferrari F40. That's an iconic car. I love that car. A 73 Ferrari Daytona Competizione. This is a race car. I mean, you don't get more rare than that. Then also, of course, the 61 Ferrari California Spider in that very unique sepia tone, similar to that Ferrari you saw in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
All right. Thank you, Pras. Appreciate it. And be sure to tune in to Ask You for a Trend, as Pras was just mentioning there, Friday, 4:30, for an interview with Vice President of Infiniti Americas.
That's cool. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest of Ferrari fans, but of course, as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to head over to the concourse. I got stuff to do there. Now, mind you, it's just a great event, guys. And if you're ever in the Central Coast area during Car Weekend, you're going to love it. Now, you're going to have problems traveling. You're going to have problems getting a room because this place is packed. It's wall-to-wall cars, wall-to-wall people. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of money to be made here. It's a lot of opportunities. And if you're a car enthusiast like myself, you're just going to have a ball up and down the roads. Now, and of course, you're going to spend a lot of money because it's California and we're expensive. And that's just the way it is. So, fortunately, I'm going to get up out of here. Got some more Car Week stuff to do. And then, of course, we're going to shoot another show later on for that. But, as always, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the show. I am your host, Chris Surratt. Hit me in the DMs if you have any questions, and I'm out. Peace.